This game's not won on social media. This game's not won on telephones. This game is won with shoulder pads, helmets, mouth guards, and sweat. That's how the game is won.
Welcome to the Bill Neese's Coaches Show, episode 7, week 10. Coach, big win on Friday night as the Indians had what may be the biggest win of the year. Of course, week by week, but as far as game, week 9, what it meant to the league, what it meant for postseason, certainly winning 28-23, and when we score late in the game, we'll break it down here a little bit. But Coach, we were pretty fired up after the game.
I think so. I think everybody was, cranked up after the game. A lot of excitement, and the thing ended, and ended up and got sideline warning for too much celebration, and I knew we had just enough time that we could take a knee. But I myself was getting nervous that we were going to have to take it. We're going to have room to take a knee if the referees kept penalizing us, for being on the field. So, the biggest thing was I lost a little bit on the enthusiasm because I was trying to get people off the field. So that penalty didn't turn into a yardage penalty rather than just a warning.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the game itself. We go in the game, both teams are in a spot where the game meant a lot for where we were kind of in the middle there in the league of league standings, but it also had a postseason implications of where things could fall, and we'll talk about that on another episode. But what is interesting about the way the game started, it was, and I said it to you as soon as the game was over, this is the 4th game in a row where we've had some type of a goal line stand. I mean, you get one, every 2 or 3 games. We had 4 in a row, and again, crucial part that led to a win.
Yeah, those guys are resilient. They're resilient, and the thing that I really appreciate is Zay Allen, the guy that calls all of our defenses. He's out there and he's able to get that all communicated because it's kind of a frenzy out there, especially when you get down close, to the goal line and you're running out of space and you don't know exactly what, you don't have a huge beat on what people are doing. It's, when you're out in the open field, we can't have an idea of, okay, they're going to do this. But on the goal line, there's a limited amount of plays in high school football that you have an idea what to do. And Zayden put us in the best defenses, that we could find on almost every one of those occasions. And John Hess single-handedly, they went to John Hess's side 3 times straight, and John Hess had 3 tackles straight. So they were 0 for 3 gone against John Hess.
Well, you take about high school football, so many plays, so many limited plays. And in high school football, very limited times do you hear holding them to a field goal could make a difference between winning or losing. When we held them to a field goal, ends up being our favor.
It was just huge for us, and this was a perfect. I mean, if there could have been a better example of our theory, our philosophy of just no turnovers and big plays, I don't know if it could have been played out any more there. We get the ball back, Debo takes one of his shots. Next thing you know, he's up the sideline. Boom, gone. He's out. We get a big play. Next thing you know, we go back and forth. They had a big play, had a big 4th down play, and we held them a couple of times on 4th down. And then they had that big 4th down play with with the quarterback keep, and things were just going back and forth. And then there was 1 turnover the whole game. And the turnover happens, and there's never a good time for a turnover, but there are some times that are worse than others. And I think that would have been probably, it was a bad time to take a penalty, a grounding penalty, and then also have that turnover.
Well, as we look back at the game and look at the first half, you talk about Debo's first play, and he gets a good run, and like you said, it's back and forth. But we were not in good position because of where we were, because we did the goal line stand, we had to punt, and we're kind of up against it there for a while. And then it wasn't second half, we started to loosen some things again. Adjustments, we make some adjustments offensively, and we're in a fourth down situation. If my memory serves me correctly here in the second half, and it was 4th and long, and not only did we get the first down, or was it 4th and short, we ended up getting a score out of it.
Yeah, and it was a great situation. We had run the formation a couple times, and it's a heavy run formation. It was just a great call from those guys upstairs, to pop that thing in there. Chris Davis, great pass. I mean, he threw the pass and got blown up. It was like he was on his back. I don't even think Chris even saw the play. And obviously Miles Haney came down with that catch. You never take anything for granted.
Yeah. We we're down 23-21. I got to ask though, kind of walk us through. We've got. There's some time on the clock. We've got a little time to score. Go back to what we said in previous shows. You're not necessarily working. You're just trying to score. You're not worrying about trying to leave time on there. Talk a little bit about what plays you're looking at as we're working down the field, and we're trying to maybe throw something off that they hadn't seen before.
Yeah, well, I think that's the case there, but also it's the case where when you're down there, when the higher up you get, in football, the more you can combine, what you're doing with the time and all the other stuff. What we're doing is we're looking at the downs. That's all we're looking at. We're looking at, I got 1, 2, 3, I got 4th down, I got to get it first down, we got to do this, we got to do this. I think sometimes it gets a little overblown, when people say, well, you left too much time on the clock. I think that's a lot to do with maybe somebody with a bowl of Doritos in front of them watching a game, and it's easy to say stuff like that. Well, don't try to score on this play, just try to gain yards. Well, how do you convey that to a group of high school guys? These guys are trying to, block, score, and do everything. So, our job is we scored, we're pumped, we're happy, and that pumped our defense up. Yeah. And our defense couldn't have had any more motivation to go out on that field than what they did.
And they had 2 minutes. I mean, there's enough time for them to...
2 minutes, and they had all their timeouts. So it was a great, testimony again for our defense. They rose to the occasion. That particular spot. That was a very talented football team.
Yeah, we beat a good team.
They had 2 guys on their defense that are bona fide first-team all-league players from last year. They had probably 3 more guys that are going to be all-league players on both sides of the ball. So that was a very talented football team, and those guys were not playing around out there.
Well, and it would be how fitting it is, the interception that we get that seals the deal, Mr. Zayden Allen again.
Yeah, right place at the right time. And actually, one of our other linebackers read it wrong, and he was in the wrong spot. So Zayden took his spot in the right spot, just exchanged roles with him. And again, that's not something anybody would ever be able to pick out. It's just something that Zayden did, and he was just sitting right on it right there.
Well, often too is guys that work hard and put themselves in the right position, sometimes in the right position, they make plays too. So it wasn't by accident.
No, it was not by accident. So we were excited that he was able to get that, get that play, and everybody was. It was just a great
team win.
A great effort at the end. For us to come out of the locker room at halftime and be able to get a shutdown and then go down and try and score ourselves. That helped quite a bit too, getting that momentum.
Truly, when you look at the game, team win offensively and defensively, both made plays to give ourselves a chance. And
the field position, as you said, definitely got better in the second half. It seemed like the first half, we were looking,
we're looking up the mountain.
That goal line, that goal post was long distance away, and we were able to
shorten the field a little bit.
Yeah, and we had faith in our punting, and we were able to get the ball. You don't necessarily want to punt, but if you do punt, you want to be effective with it. I thought we were effective with our punting, and we eventually, kind of switched to flip a little bit, as they say, to get more short field.
Well, the game comes out in the Indians' favor, 28-23, Week 9, and we have finally reached Week 10. As you say, we have 24 hours to either commiserate or celebrate.
Yeah.
And we don't have to say anything other than it's Sydney week, and the opportunity to play a rival, which again we've talked about this several weeks ago. Pick was very lucky to have two big rivals on our schedule. A lot of schools don't have any; they have to make one up. We don't have to make any up here. We've got two, and the opportunity to play for a trophy this week. Pretty fun, and gives some guys something to play for.
It is. It's outstanding. I know the players. Our players kind of know their players a little bit when because you're in close proximity with them, and they haven't had a great record, so to speak. But then you sit down and watch the tape, and they've got some players. They've got some good ideas. They've got some good schemes, and this is a whole. I just got done telling our team a little bit. People don't dig into it like we dig into it and see the stuff. So after they get done watching film, they're like, Jesus, these guys haven't won a game, because it's all we heard about was just the scores. And then once you got to go stop them, that's a whole different story, on how you do it. So we're going to be ready. We're going to be prepared. We've done our work. We've had 2 really good days of practice. The coaches have been in there working at it, and we're very focused on Week 10 Sydney.
I'm glad you brought that up about record. To the general fan who just sits out there and looks and scrolls to their phone. No one reads newspapers anymore. I'd say open up the newspaper and look at scores. But when people scroll through the phones and look at scores, people make predictions as to what happens. These are high school kids. Things can happen. Records don't matter, and particularly in rivalries. Mm-hmm. You've seen it in all the years you've coached. You've seen some games where either side, one record maybe outweigh the other, but hey, the Jackets are looking forward to the Indians coming to town. It always has an exciting atmosphere up there when Pickwick comes. So records aside, what are we going to see from the Jackets this Friday night?
Well, you're going to see a combination on offense of a lot of the things that we've seen already this year in terms of they run an H-back orientated offense with some pulls, some down blocks, and some kicks. They also then run some of the screen game that we see from some of our opponents running. We also see a little bit of a rollout from some of the teams that we see. So you get a little bit of, as we were doing a scouting report, it was kind of like, okay, this is some of the Xenia stuff over here. This is some of the Stebbins stuff, some of the Tip City stuff, all the different teams, and you kind of put that all together. In terms of their defense is about the same way. Everybody's kind of been popular this year running the odd front. Mm-hmm. Big nose. Everybody's got a big nose. Everybody's got a couple 4 eyes that are really blazing down the line, and then everybody's just got some skill behind it that's trying to make it as complicated as possible. And they're no different than that. They got those inside people that are pretty stout, 2 stout linebackers, and then they got a lot of speed on the perimeter.
One of the things that I look at when I look at their, they've got some speed and they got some athleticism. Mm-hmm. What are some things that you can see, you would say defensively, that they provide trouble for other teams? Have you seen some things that you look at?
Well, they've got good size. I think the thing that strikes you the most when you look at them is they've got good size, and there's a good combination of size and speed. And there's just some times where they get down a couple touchdowns and things just kind of snowball.
Yeah, I look at this game, and of course it's for the battered helmet. We've eluded this one. I know this is something that we're looking forward to getting back. This group of guys, I know this group of seniors, they brought it up to me. They said, hey, we haven't beaten them yet. This is important for them. So I would imagine practice this week is probably, there's a little more motivation this week.
I think so. I think every week we try to find something that motivates us, and this week would be no exception. Whether or not it be last week, because of Vandalia Butler, and we really have a lot of respect for what they do. And then this week it's the rival game. Week before, we went down to Stebbins, and those guys, we have great respect for what they do schematically. They do a great job with X's and O's, and when you get done playing Stebbins, their coaches' pens have run out of ink with some of the stuff they've drawn up and got ready. So this will be no exception. Our players for 10 weeks in a row now, our players have come to each one of these games focused on who we're playing and zeroed in on what we're going to do, and they're not a hugely yelling type group, but they are a very intense type group. And once they get going, as you saw at the end of the game, they can get it rolling here. So we look forward to big things from them.
Well, you look at week 10. We've said this every year, and I feel like it's week 6 through 9. You start to 6 through 8 is a grind.
Mm-hmm.
Week 9, you start to see yourself come out of it. Week 10, you're starting to see the light here at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot to play for, and it's exciting on a week 10. You have an opportunity to play a rival game.
Yeah, it is. It's great, and we just got to keep got to keep practicing hard, stay in the weight room, stay healthy, and recover. We got it. We can't get on that wheel and just try to survive till tomorrow. We got to get home at night and eat. We got to relax. We got to sit down for a little bit. We got to get our schoolwork done. Got to stay in that rhythm of what we're doing and not start getting carried away and
not looking
too
ahead.
far
Let's take 1 week. Let's do what we've been doing all year. It's 1 week at a time.
Yep.
Let's talk about, as we have each week, our feature senior this week is Ishmael Jones. Ishmael's been a good part of this program in a different way. He came from Dayton Dunbar, transferred in. We had a chance. We pre-recorded our interview yesterday, and it was interesting listening to him talk. He talked a lot about how Piqua football has been very kind. He used the word kindness, and he said people care about one another, and it's a genuineness. You've probably gotten that same feel from him, that he has added that element to the locker room.
He's a great guy, great attitude guy, and he's been hurt a lot. He had a hamstring that just would not get going for him, and as a result, he became very efficient with a lot of our technology to the fact that he mans our main stick. We got one stick that goes around and films everything from behind, and he was manning our stick for a pretty long time, and he's kind of been requested. He's the best. Anytime you sit down and watch practice and the practice tape's not good, I'm complaining, where's Ishmael at? Why can't he do it? So he's well respected, also for his abilities on the field too. Not just that, but the good news is when he was hurt, he just didn't stand around and do nothing or not come. He basically got here every day and he said, how can I help you guys? What can I do to contribute? And he went about his business and did it. So we appreciate him for that.
Well, and here's the other thing too. In the summer, a lot of times he showed up in the summer every day. Like he showed up. But, it's a lot of times, and you're not playing, you're not hurt. Sometimes guys don't show up. He was there.
Yeah.
And he really took that role serious. And the two things that I see about Ishmael is what you just said. One of them is he's willing to help. And the other one is you can count on him. A guy that, when I say count on him, he may not be the guy that's going to be blowing up the stats, but he's the kind of guy that he's going to be at practice and hey, if I need you to do this, I need you to take care of film today. He's going to take care of it.
Exactly. I agree with you totally. I know he's happy to be here, and we're happy to have him.
Yeah, Coach, we wish you all the best for a big game here on set here at Sydney. Again, before we get to Ishmael, that game will be at Sim Memorial Stadium. Kickoff will be at 7 p.m. We for sure will talk to Ishmael here when we return. Again, Bill and Lisa's Coaches Show brought to you by Dick Lunkins Auto Body. We'll be back for part 2 of the Bill and Lisa's Coaches Show. Welcome back to the Bill and Lisa's Coaches Show, part 2, the players portion. I have this young man here introduce himself and the position he plays.
Ishmael Jones, receiver.
Ishmael, your role has been a little bit different this year. Unfortunately, you've been injured and haven't been able to participate and play the way you had hoped. However, I noticed a lot in the summer when I was out at the stadium and worked at workouts, you were there consistently all the time. So you're just not a guy that shows up on Friday night and stands on the sideline. You're a guy that has truly been with the program through the long portions of it. So talk a little bit about your role with football and what your role has been to this point.
Well, pretty much behind the scenes, I'm taking care of when we get rocket ropes out and parachutes, I'm there to fix and help and whatnot. A lot of times I haven't been able to do what I've mostly wanted to because of injuries and whatnot, but I do help out a lot.
see a video camera, so you got a video camera in your hand and you're videoing. So you're kind of doing all those things behind the scenes that a lot of people just aren't interested in doing, and you're willing to put that time and effort into it. And strangely enough, you ask a coach, those are little things that make a difference, and I'm sure you've got to be enjoying the success that we've been having the last few weeks.
Absolutely, yes.
A little bit about Pickle football. You've just moved from Dayton here the last couple of years, so talk a little bit about what your experiences have been and just your observations of Pickle football in general.
Oh man, the love is just so much kindness, and the energy here is just so different. Like the games on Friday and like the build up to the games
Sure.
to Friday, it's just so much love, you know.
If I have to ask you what some of the highlights for you have been in the last couple of years of being in Pickle Indian, particular game or moment, what have they been for you?
Mostly, I wouldn't even say it'd be like a game or a sport. I'd say mostly I go around, I'll see people frowning, and I'll try to cheer them up. I'll try to be as polite and kind as possible, if possible, you know?
Kindness goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about just the onslaught of this season. This past year, or this past few weeks, we've won 3 in a row. We're getting ready for a big game with Sydney, with looking for an opportunity to play for a postseason. Just to be a part of that for your end has got to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Crush the Jackets, go out there, do our best, perform our best. There's no losing opportunity. It's go out there and do it.
I love your positivity. Let's talk about when we get past to this part, when we get through the season. I say this all the time to the guys that have been on the show. Your uniform is going to be a little different that you're going to look at in June when you graduate. You're going to have a cap and gown. Once you graduate from Pickle High School, what's things going to look like for you, Ishmael?
Well, I've already spoken to a couple of recruiters with the Air Force. I was planning on joining the Air Force. I'll be taking my ASVAB here shortly.
Well, good. Well, I wish you all the best, and I think that'd be a great option for you. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being a part of Pickle football, and not so much just the show, but hey, the kindness and the humility that you show our players and our coaches, and you're a great example.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
For Ishmael, I am your host, Chip Hare. Just a reminder, the game Friday night is at Sydney Memorial Stadium. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Just a reminder also that it is for the battered helmet. So we're playing for a trophy on Friday night, wrapping up the regular season, looking for hopefully getting to week 11. For Ishmael, I'm your host, Chip Hare. We'll see you next week at the Bill Neeson's Coaches Show.